Hey friends, I have a secret for you. Making homemade rolls for Thanksgiving dinner is way easier than you ever imagined it could be. I'm going to use the Pioneer Woman recipe for Parker House rolls, and y'all will not believe how easy this recipe is. And I can't convince you of how good the results taste, but you're just going to have to believe me. The results are phenomenal, like phenom, amaze, unbelievable. Okay, let's do it. We're going to start with 4 cups of milk in a pot. We're going to add to it 1 cup of sugar and 2 sticks of butter. And then we're going to put it on the stove and we're going to let it get hot. We do not want it to boil. We just want it to get hot. And then we're going to take it off the eye and we're going to put it on another part of the stove that's cold. And we're going to let that come down from hot to lukewarm. Once it gets to which usually takes about 30 to 45 minutes. Once it gets to the lukewarm stage, we're going to add yeast and 8 cups of flour, and then we're just going to let it hang out for an hour and do its thing, and then we'll finish off the dough and make the rolls. So simple. So I will see you back here after this mixture has gotten hot and then cooled down to lukewarm. It's time to turn our lukewarm milk, butter, and sugar mixture into the beginning stages of dough for our rolls. So we've let it cool down for 45 minutes. Now we're going to put in 2 packs of yeast. We're going to stir that around a little bit and just let it get, I don't know, kind of activated, for lack of a better term. All right, now that's had a few seconds to hang out in the milk by itself, we're going to add 8 cups of flour. We're going to get this stirred up, then we're going to cover it with a towel and we're going to let it sit for an hour. After the hour, we're going to come back and we're going to add a little bit more flour and we're going to add, I think, baking powder, baking soda, salt, and then we'll stir it up and let it sit one more time to puff up really good before we make our rolls. At this stage, the dough can just look like this. It does not have to look perfect. It just looks like the beginning stages of dough. We're going to get our towel on it and we're going to let it hang out for an hour. Hey friends, our dough looks gorge, all nice and fluffy, about to spill out of our pot. We're going to add some stuff to it and then we're going to knead it for 8 to 10 minutes and then we're going to put it into 2 different bowls and cover with a towel so it can do its last rise before we actually make our rolls. So stick your spoon in, the same spoon you used last time. The dough will deflate like it just did. And to this, we're going to add 1 more cup of flour, a heaping teaspoon of baking powder. That means over the top, not leveled off. And then a scant teaspoon of baking soda. And that means just a little bit short. And then 1 tablespoon of salt. All right, we're going to give it a stir. All right, once you've got that worked in, we're going to kind of clean up our space a little bit. We're going to sprinkle a little bit of flour on our counter. And we're just going to reach in and grab half our dough out. All right, I think that's about half. Now, we're going to just knead this for 8 to 10 minutes. So that really just means, you know, kind of folding it in on itself, flipping it over, mushing it with your hands. If you need to put some more flour out, you can always do that. We're just working this dough so that it's nice and light and airy when we make it into our rolls. You can definitely do this in a stand mixer with the hook attachment and let the hook do your kneading. But this recipe has you do it by hand, and so I do it by hand. All right, our first ball of dough is done. Now I'm going to dump out the other half of our dough. All right, we've kneaded our dough and I've worked it into a ball. I'm going to put this in a bowl. So we'll have 2 bowls, each with half the dough in the bowls. And we're going to cover them with towels and let this dough rise for another 30 to 45 minutes. And then it'll be time to make our rolls. Our dough has been resting for 30 minutes. It's all nice and puffy again. I'm going to turn it out onto our floured surface that we used before, and we're going to make our rolls. It's time, folks. It is game time. This dough is so versatile. You can use it for so many things. Not only can you use it for rolls, you can use it for pizza dough. I use it for cinnamon rolls, my award-winning, very, very popular cinnamon rolls. You can use it for so much stuff. So I highly, highly recommend looking this recipe up, making the dough, and using it for your favorite thing to use it for. And I think it'll become a staple in your household. It is so, so, so easy, so versatile, so delicious. All right, we're gonna get this rolled out. We're looking for a 1/2 inch thickness for the dough. All right, our dough is beautifully rolled out. You need a 2.5 inch diameter cookie cutter. I just use this glass because that's what I've got that's the right size. And you're just gonna cut out little circles of your dough. That's what you got. I've got a bowl of melted butter over here. I'm gonna dip the roll in the melted butter. I'm gonna fold it in half like this. And I'm gonna put it on my cookie sheets. And I'm just gonna work my way through all the dough until we've got our cookie sheets all filled up with rolls. Okay, here's our finished pan of rolls. We're gonna let these rise for 30 minutes and then we're gonna stick them in the oven and they are gonna be amazing. We have 3 gorgeous pans of rolls. They have risen for 30 minutes. They are going into a 400-degree oven for 15 minutes, and I cannot wait for y'all to see the finished product. You guys, look at these rolls. Amaze or what? Like unbelievably delicious. If y'all could smell in here, you would die. I'm so excited. They're gonna be very, very, very hot. I need to let them cool down, but I don't think I have the willpower to do so. All right, I put it on a plate. It's still smoking hot. Break it open. Mmm. 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 Oh my goodness. There is nothing, I repeat, nothing as good as homemade bread. Mmm. They're so buttery from where we dipped them in that butter. Mmm. Mmm. Absolute perfection. No need to change a thing. Just make them and enjoy them. Mmm. This recipe made right at like 50 rolls. So it is definitely enough for Thanksgiving dinner, depending on how many people you have, but I'm sure it's plenty. And it's so worth it. Most of the time is inactive time, just rise time. So you spend a few minutes doing something, then let it rise for 45 minutes. Do something else, let it da-da. So all in all, the active baking time is not very much. Most of the time spent is just the dough doing its thing. So I hope you'll try the recipe. They are amazing. No notes. They are perfection. Couldn't get any better. And I think everybody that you serve them to will love them too. All right. Love y'all. See you tomorrow.